Hello and welcome to another Talking Head video from the Pup Mommy. In this video, I'm going to talk about seniors and dogs. Not senior dogs, but seniors and dogs. Because not everyone who dearly wants a dog is necessarily a child or a young adult. There are many of our parents and our grandparents out there who dearly want and dearly crave the companionship and love of a dog. Now, if you happen to know someone who is senior, or you're a senior yourself, here are some things to think about from my point of view before you go out and adopt that right dog for yourself or for a loved one. Number one, and again, this is in no particular order. Number one is vision and mobility. Do you have any vision issues? Are there any mobility issues? For example, do you have balance issues? How clear is your eyesight? Because the other thing to think about when you're getting a dog is everyone thinks that the small toy dogs are the absolute answer for seniors. And that's not necessarily the right choice, because the last thing that someone needs, and it could be any age actually, is to not clearly see the dog and you trip over the dog, and the next thing you know, you've fallen and you've hurt yourself. So again, think about any vision issues, any mobility issues. Number two, disability issues. Just because someone happens to need a piece of equipment or a medical device does not necessarily eliminate them from having a dog in their life. It just merely impacts the kind and type of dog that you have in your life. Number three, think about your personal strength and fitness. Now, some seniors are very active, whether they walk, whether they jog, whether they play tennis, whatever, or go hiking. Other seniors are aging gracefully and they're a little bit more sedentary. But always think of, when you're adopting a dog, think of your own personal strength. For example, if something happens to your dog and you have to lift it into your car or your SUV, are you going to be able to do that? In my case, about 2 years ago, I had to lift an 80-pound German Shepherd, dead weight, into the back seat of my SUV. I don't know how I did it, but I did it. The other thing to think about also is when you're walking your dog, for example, you may have your dog under perfect control, maybe a perfectly well-behaved dog, but all of a sudden that squirrel comes out of nowhere and the dog jerks the leash. Is that dog going to jerk you off your feet? Well, yeah, it's happened to me, and it happened to me a long time ago. I was walking my Boston. My Boston saw a squirrel, and it happened to be a little bit of a rainy day, and my gym shoe slid on the asphalt, and down I went, crashed on my knee. So it can happen to anybody. But it is something to think about. Another thing, point number four, I would say, would be your home. Now, if you happen to live in a gated community or a condo, or you're renting, I should say, always look at the lease, always look at the bylaws and the homeowners association, because there may be size and breed restrictions. And also, when you're thinking about a dog inside your home, think of your home, that dog within your home, as a volume. There are some dogs that are the size of bread boxes, and there are dogs that are the size of an ottoman, and there are dogs like mine that are basically the size of a lazy boy. So take that into consideration as well when you're thinking about the right dog for you and your family. So I think point number five is income. Now, if you're on a tight, restricted budget, if your budget allows you a little more leeway, or whether you are comfortable, always think about what is the cost of the dog, because your veterinary costs and the food costs are going to be your top two costs, and the cost of the dog. So do some research online as to all of the things that you think you're going to need for the dog, and whether you go to a pet warehouse or you go to Etsy or you go to Petco or you go to For the Love of Dog makes no difference. It's whatever fits into your income. I'm going to leave a link to what am I trying to say? It's a guide that basically takes you through what it costs to own a dog for the first year, whether you decide to go the rescue route, breeder route, shelter route, and it gives you some estimates. Now, there's all kinds of things that you can skimp on, or you can just, do whatever for your dog, but it'll give you a guideline as to what to expect in terms of first year costs. And finally, point number 6, what happens to your dog if something happens to you? So in other words, it's called planning for the inevitable. Don't expect someone, whether it's family, friends, or neighbors, or whomever, to step up and care for your dog if something happens to you or you pass on. The shelters are full of dogs that are surrendered by people who simply can't take care of them or don't want to take care of them, and they belong to former elderly owners. Now, what I have done in my instance is I've included my dogs in my estate plan. I have a pet trust set up for them so that I know whether or not I am temporarily incapacitated, or if I pass on, I know that my dogs will be financially taken care of and there will be someone to look after them, whether it is until they are adopted out or until they die. So again, something to think about. Now, I hope I've helped you in some way, given you, as I've said so many times in this video, something to think about. I will leave my contact information in the description section. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to contact me. If you need help as to what kind of dog might be right for your grandparents or your parents, or if you're a senior, what dog might be right for you, contact me and let's work together. So thank you very much for watching. I do so appreciate it. Don't forget to click subscribe and you'll know when I upload my next video. Thank you very much for watching. Bye for now.